September 11 attacks. On a clear Tuesday morning, Al-Qaeda hijackers seized 4 commercial flights during busy morning rush hour. The first plane struck high on the World Trade Center's North Tower, creating massive fireballs from ignited jet fuel. Minutes later, a second plane slammed into the South Tower as television cameras captured the horrifying reality. A third plane soon hit the Pentagon while passengers on the fourth fought back, forcing it down in a Pennsylvania field. Both giant towers collapsed within hours, burying lower Manhattan streets under enormous debris clouds. Firefighters and police rushed into danger, knowing they might not return, while office workers above impact zones faced impossible choices. The deadliest terror attack in history changed America overnight. New security agencies formed quickly after the tragedy. Wars began against terrorist networks overseas. Airport lines transformed into hours-long rituals everywhere. Reinforced cockpit doors became standard while surveillance expanded dramatically. Annual memorials now honor victims from every background whose absence reshaped families, cities, and global politics forever. The attacks exposed shocking intelligence failures but also demonstrated remarkable passenger courage on the final flight. America entered a permanent state of heightened vigilance, transforming daily life from coast to coast. 2004 Madrid train bombings. Madrid's commuter trains were packed with people going to work when backpack bombs suddenly went off on several train lines during the morning rush hour. The blasts ripped through train cars and filled stations with thick smoke. Rescue workers pulled injured people from broken metal and debris. Families waited outside the stations in fear, and the platforms turned into places where doctors and helpers treated the wounded. The attackers were Islamist extremists who were angry about Spain's involvement in war. They planned the explosions to happen at the same time and used simple bombs hidden in gym bags. The attack happened just days before national elections, which made the shock even bigger. Many voters did not accept the first official explanation that blamed local groups. Soon after, a new government was elected and said it would bring Spanish troops back home from overseas. After the bombings, train stations added more security, including bag checks and more police. For many people in Spain, taking public transport never felt completely safe again. Every year, memorial events remember the victims, often using displays like empty shoes to show who was lost. Spain also increased efforts to track and stop violent extremist groups inside the country. The attacks showed how easily crowded public places can become dangerous, and why people and authorities must stay alert. 2005 London bombings. 4 British-born men set off suicide bombs on London's transport system during the morning rush hour. Explosions hit crowded underground trains deep below the city, and later a bomb on a bus tore off the top deck. Ordinary people on their way to work were suddenly caught in a terrible attack nobody expected. The bombers later left recorded messages blaming Britain's wars overseas, and security cameras showed them earlier carrying bags that looked suspicious. It was the worst attack in Britain since World War II, and it brought the whole city to a stop. Leaders around the world cancelled meetings, and security became tighter across Europe. More efforts started to stop people from becoming violent extremists, especially those influenced online. Train and bus stations added bomb checks and random bag searches as a normal part of travel. Even with fear and shock, many Londoners went back to work within days. People also became much more careful about unattended bags, and communities worked harder to stop young people from being pulled in by violent messages online. 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. Timothy McVeigh parked a large truck bomb made with fertilizer outside a federal building. He did it exactly 2 years after a major event that made him hate the government. The explosion happened in the morning and destroyed half of the building. It also hit a daycare inside, where children had been just moments before. Rescue workers searched through the broken building for days, while broken glass covered streets far away from the blast. McVeigh, a former soldier, showed that simple farm chemicals could be used to make a very powerful bomb. He was arrested nearby after being stopped for a small traffic violation. After a quick federal trial, he was sentenced to death and later executed. His partner was sent to prison for life and will never be released. After this attack, many federal buildings across the country put up concrete blocks outside, and checking vehicles became common. People also realized that danger can come from inside the country, not only from foreign groups. Today, a memorial with pools of water stands on the site each year to honor the victims. The bombing also showed that America had serious anger and division, and it was a warning that attacks from within the country can happen even in peaceful times. 2008 Mumbai Attacks. Gunmen from Pakistan came by inflatable boat and attacked Mumbai's main train station during the busy evening rush hour. Luxury hotels turned into battle areas, where guests hid while attackers threw grenades and fired guns for days. A popular tourist cafe and a Jewish center were also attacked, with people shot at close range. TV news showed the fires and smoke, and images of burning buildings spread around the world. Indian commandos fought the attackers inside the buildings, going room to room through smoke-filled hallways. Mumbai, India's financial center, came to a complete stop as the attacks continued at several locations. One attacker was captured alive, and during questioning he said the group had been trained in camps across the border. After the attacks, India quickly increased coastal security and created stronger special anti-terror teams across the country. Police security around tourist places also increased and stayed that way. The attack showed how dangerous it can be when attackers can enter by sea and strike crowded city areas during normal hours, and it made clear that better intelligence sharing between countries is important. 2015 Paris Attacks. ISIS attackers hit Paris on a Friday evening when people were out enjoying their night at a soccer stadium, busy cafes and a concert hall. First, suicide bombs exploded near the stadium, while gunmen nearby shot people who were eating outside. At the concert hall, people inside were trapped for hours as the attackers moved through the building and terrorized them. Special police forces later rushed in and stopped the attack. Afterward, France declared a national emergency. Borders were tightened for a short time, and soldiers were sent to guard public places. Police also increased monitoring and investigations to find extremist groups and stop future attacks. Later, the concert hall reopened and held concerts again, showing that people would not live in fear. France also made stronger ID checks and increased safety measures in public areas to help prevent similar attacks from happening again. 2011 Norway Attacks. Anders Breivik set off a bomb near government buildings in Oslo. Then he drove to a youth camp on the island of Utøya. He was dressed like a police officer, which helped him get close to people. Once there, he started shooting. Teenagers ran across the island trying to hide among the rocks and trees, but the shooting lasted a long time and many people were killed at close range. It was the worst attack in Norway's history. The attacker was a right-wing extremist who strongly opposed immigration. He wrote a long document explaining his beliefs, and investigators later found signs that he had planned the attack for years, including buying materials to make the bomb. After a long trial, he received Norway's strongest prison sentence. The case showed the attack was carefully planned, not a sudden act. Afterward, Norway's leaders called for unity instead of revenge. The island is still used for gatherings today, but with strong security. Even after such a painful event, Norway chose not to become a heavily locked-down country, and many people repeated the idea of responding with more openness instead of fear. 1972 Munich Olympics Massacre. Palestinian terrorists climbed over the fence at the Olympic Village before sunrise and took Israeli athletes hostage. The Olympics were meant to show peace and unity after World War II, so the attack shocked the world. German police tried to rescue the hostages at an airport, but the plan went badly wrong. During the standoff, shooting and explosions happened, including grenades thrown into helicopters. The rescue failed, and the hostages were killed. The crisis was shown on live television, and people around the world saw how unprepared the security was. The terrorist group became known worldwide immediately. After this tragedy, security at major sports events changed completely. Countries created special anti-terror teams, added better surveillance and alarm systems, and made strict security rules. Athlete housing became more protected, and countries began sharing intelligence more closely to stop attacks. Today, memorials honor the athletes who died. The attack is remembered as a turning point that led to much stronger security, while the Olympics continued to stand for peaceful competition despite violence aimed at such important events. 1998 U.S. Embassy bombings. Al-Qaeda used truck bombs to attack U.S. embassies in two nearby African capitals just minutes apart on a Friday morning, when many people were at work. One embassy building was destroyed, and the other was badly damaged because the attacks were planned to happen at the same time. Rescue workers searched through the ruins for days. The damage was not only to the embassies. Nearby streets and buildings were also hit hard, and many local people were killed and injured. The attacks showed that the group was planning large, organized attacks against American targets even years before later major events. A few weeks later, the United States launched missile strikes against training camps linked to the group as an early military response. After the bombings, U.S. embassies and other government buildings around the world improved security. Many added stronger walls and designs meant to reduce blast damage, and more security forces were assigned. Investigations later led to key convictions and showed how the group used money and support networks across many countries, which required strong cooperation between governments to track and stop. If you enjoyed this, please like the video, comment below which attack shocked you, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future uploads. Thanks for watching!